Hi everyone, thank you for watching Handy Radio, and today I'm going to talk about how to use the group call function on the Motorola TLKR T80. I'll be going through how to set it up and how this works. I have two Motorola TLKR T80 radios here, and I'm going to set them up so they could belong to the same group. And to do that, you turn the radio on. The default setting is for the normal channels, so you can go into change your main channels and privacy codes. Okay, so that's the kind of thing you do. Now, when you go into a group function, it's totally different to how you normally set it. So what you do is you press and hold the group and menu button. And the first thing you need to do is, when it says GRP, with the N on top, that means it's not in group mode. You need to select, press the up button to say yes. So a Y will display and that says GRP under the battery indicator. So press select. Now it's asking for a code. Now this code is the CTCSS or DCS code. Now you can set it to any code you like. This can go up to 121. So any of the 121 codes on this radio you can use. Press select again, and it's giving you an option to change the ringtone. You have 10 different ringtones from the radio you can use for the group call, so let's just call it 9. Select again. Now this is where you need to set your ID between 1 and 16. Now when you change the different user ID, like I said, you can go between 1 and 16. If someone has, if one of the IDs been taken, for example, the number 2 has been taken by the other radio, so it's going to say used. So let's say I'm going to go on to 1. So I'm going to name this radio as radio ID number 1. Press select again, and you can see the letters start to flash. You can change these up or down, going through the alphabet. It will allow you to put some symbols and numbers as well. So what I did was I set it to Adam, just give it a 4-letter name. Press select again. That will allow you to go on to the next letter when you finish with the first one. So that's done. Press select, and that goes to the next one, and change as required, and select. Now this radio has been set to a group call, and at the moment it's on channel 2, code 8. So I'm going to put this radio on the side so you can see it's been set on group mode, and I will now program the second radio. It does let you see what's the radio ID and username when you turn it on for a brief 2 seconds. So again, to enter the group mode, press and hold group menu button, and then select. When it's flashing, change it to yes. Select again, it's going to give you a code. Again, it's code 8, ring 10, ID number 2 for this radio, and I just called it yes. Now, this radio now, the second radio, is on channel 2 and code 8. And if you look at my first one, it's on channel 2 and code 8. So if I were to press PTT, that will call the other radio. Testing with channel 2, code 8. Now, what I'm going to do is to initiate a channel change with one of the radios. You can do it with either one. So let's say I'm going to do it with radio number 1. So at the moment we're on channel 2, code 8. Let's change that to a different channel. Let's say if you see a little sign there is causing some interference, you want to change the whole group onto a different channel, you just need to press select, and it's saying, do you want to change all channels or do you want to change just my channel? So I'm going to say change all channels. Press select, and the flashing number is the channel number. So let's say I want to change to channel 3 for all of the radios in this group. So press select again, and it's going to flash. It says 2 and then flashing to 3. So all of the radios in this group has been changed to channel 3 with the same code. Like I said, the code stays the same, so it doesn't matter which channel you go on to, it's always going to be the same code you set when you enter the group mode. So now I'm on channel 3 and code 8. Channel 3 code 8 testing. So that's working. Now if I just change my channels, so if I press select and go to my and change that to channel 4, now that's on channel 4 and code 8, and that's on channel 3, so it doesn't matter what you do on this one, it's not going to work. So far what we have achieved is we have been able to activate the group mode to set it up with different radio IDs and different radio names, with the CTCSS or DCS code. So the two radios will be able to talk, and we've also covered how to initiate a channel change for the whole group. Now if I were to do it now, go into or while I'm on channel 4 on a different channel to my left hand side radio, I'm going to do that, change to a channel 2, it's not going to work because the other radio is on channel 3. So to do that, you have to think about changing back to your group radio. So let's change that one to a channel 3. So now they paired up. So you have channel 3 code 8. So let's test this, see if it works. Channel 3 code 8. Now that's working. So what we're going to do is we're going to sync the two radios together. So you know you can change your names and channel numbers and radio IDs, but sometimes you need to just get an update. Say if one of the users have changed their settings, you have to press synchronize to be able to get all the settings and the correct ID and the correct name. So what you do is there's a call button. So I'm going to leave this radio down. The call button. Now you have two options here. You have the sync and you have the call. So instead of before you're calling, you have to make sure everything in the group is synchronized. So while you're on sync, press select. And what that's doing is it's sending out a beep tone, and that's collected all the correct information. So now we're going to call it, because once you've done the sync, you know all the radios in this group is correct. So you press the call button, then you go on to the call, and you could select, do you want to call Adam or Jess, or if you had a number 3, call it something else, I don't know, Andy. Then you're going to be able to make that call. Let's say I'm going to call Jess on number 2, and I know my radio is Adam, so I'm just going to call her. Now there's no one else I wanted to speak to, so he's only going to open that radio. And you can see on this one it's showing my name. So Adam is calling or has called, and this is Jess, which means the two radios are now talking to each other. So this is not interacting with the rest of the group. The name will disappear after a while, so that means you're back onto the group call. So it only lasts a few seconds once you've started the call. So let's try to do that again with a different radio. Now this radio, you can tell what the name and number is by turning it on. So this is radio number 2, and we're going to call radio number 1. So press the call button and to synchronize. Okay, you can terminate the sync process just by pressing the PTT button. Now go to call, and you could select which one you want to call. Obviously you can't call yourself, so let's call Adam. And now this time have a look on the screen on my other radio. So this is Jess calling Adam. Now to come off the group function, so you want to talk to other PMR446 radios, press and hold the button again. And what you're going to do is you are going to select and change that to no. So you can see the GRP icons disappeared. Press select. Now that's gone back onto the standard mode. Now just to note, now the other one is still on group, channel 3 code 8. So let's go on to channel 3 on a normal setup and to code 8. This radio on the standard mode won't be able to talk to the group mode, so there's no interference even you have the same privacy tone. So let's try that. Let's try channel 3 code 8. Is there anything happening on this one? It's showing you the receive icon, but it's not letting any audio through, so that is only in group mode. When you have a radio set up to the group mode and you're trying to call on this channel, even people with the same code won't be able to hear you. There is one thing they could do to be able to hear your conversation, which is to set the code to 0. So if that was a standard, just the normal channel 3, able to hear that. To summarize then, your group call function on the TLKR T80 and the T80 Extreme is very useful if you have a group of people that have the same radio and you want to make that conversation a little bit private, i.e. you're going to direct call some of the radios, not the others. I don't know how many people do use the group call function or how many people are considering buying these radios because they have the group call function. I'm happy to answer any questions you have. Please make sure you leave a comment, or if you like this video, make sure you press the like button. And lastly, I hope you enjoy all my videos, and if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please make sure you do, because the range testing, which is a lot of people have asked, is coming up using these Motorola TLKR T80. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.